Welcome back to the Throwback, because sometimes the best content isn't new. It's the stuff we grew up on. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button because we're diving deep into the golden age of television. Today, we're talking about The Sopranos. Now, when you think of The Sopranos, you probably think drama, violence, mob hits. But here's the thing that made this show absolute genius. It was hilarious. David Chase created one of the darkest shows on television, but he also gave us some of the most unexpectedly funny moments in TV history. So grab your gabagool, pour yourself a nice Chianti, and let's count down the 12 funniest scenes from The Sopranos. And stick around, because number 1 is absolutely legendary. Number 12. Pine Barrens, the Russian. Let's kick things off with one of the most beloved episodes in the entire series. Pine Barrens from Season 3 is basically a dark comedy masterpiece. Christopher and Paulie are sent to collect money from a Russian mobster, but things go sideways fast. After they think they've killed this guy in the woods, he just disappears. What follows is Paulie and Christopher completely lost in the New Jersey Pine Barrens, freezing, arguing, and absolutely losing their minds. The scene where they're huddled in a van trying to stay warm with Paulie wearing a carpet on his head for insulation. Comedy gold. Christopher's foot is hurt. They're eating ketchup packets and relish, and Paulie is convinced they're going to die out there. The tough guy mobsters are reduced to bickering like an old married couple, and it's absolutely perfect. Steve Buscemi directed this episode, and you can feel his dark comedy sensibilities all over it. This episode proved The Sopranos could do comedy just as well as it did drama.
You come to my house? What did you call me?
Number 11. Christopher's intervention. Interventions are serious business, right? Not when it's The Sopranos. In Season 4, the family stages an intervention for Christopher's drug problem, and it quickly spirals into complete chaos. Everyone's supposed to be sharing their feelings about how Christopher's addiction has hurt them. Instead, it becomes a free-for-all of petty grievances, old grudges, and completely absurd complaints. Paulie brings up something Christopher did years ago that has nothing to do with drugs. Silvio's sitting there with the most fed-up expression you've ever seen. The best part? Tony himself gets so worked up during the intervention that he nearly derails the whole thing. They're supposed to be helping Christopher, but everyone's just airing their dirty laundry and settling scores. It's such a perfect commentary on how dysfunctional this entire operation is. And when Christopher finally agrees to go to rehab, the immediate shift in everyone's mood is priceless. Mission accomplished, right? The show takes something that should be deeply emotional and filters it through the lens of these deeply flawed, narcissistic characters.
I said my piece, Chrissy.
Great. I can't even defend myself now?
No one's attacking you, Chris.
Look, it doesn't change anything. But I can verify that he was sick for a little while.
Number 10, Tony and Janice's fight. Janice Soprano is, let's just say, she's a lot. And in Season 5, Tony finally pushes her buttons in the most savage way possible during a Sunday dinner. Janice has been going to anger management and is very proud of how calm and centered she's become. She won't shut up about it. Tony, being Tony, sees this as a challenge. He starts needling her, bringing up her past, making little comments designed to get under her skin. Then he brings up Harpo, Janice's son that she abandoned in Canada. He keeps asking, "Whatever happened to Harpo?" in this innocent voice, and you can see Janice trying so hard to maintain her composure. She's breathing through it, using her anger management techniques, but Tony won't let up. And finally she snaps, completely loses it, starts screaming and throwing things. And Tony? He's got this huge smile on his face because he's proven his point. His own sister, and he just had to prove she's full of it. It's mean-spirited, it's cruel, and it's absolutely hilarious in the most uncomfortable way. That's The Sopranos in a nutshell.
Sacre bleu, where is me mama?
Son of a...
Number 9. Paulie at the Psychic. Paulie Walnuts is superstitious, very superstitious. So when the crew goes to a psychic in Season 2, Paulie thinks it's all nonsense, until it isn't. The psychic refuses to read Paulie, just flat out refuses, says he sees too much darkness, too many spirits attached to him. The psychic is visibly disturbed and wants Paulie out of his house immediately. Paulie's reaction is priceless. He goes from skeptical tough guy to genuinely freaked out in about 5 seconds. For the rest of the episode, he's paranoid, looking over his shoulder, jumping at shadows. This is a guy who's done terrible things without blinking, but a psychic refusing to read him. That sends him into a spiral. Tony Sirico's performance here is perfect. The way Paulie tries to act tough while clearly being terrified is comedy through character, which The Sopranos did better than almost any show.
What's the problem?
I feel your anger.
Who the f*** are you talking?
He wants to know if it still itches.
Don't fuck with me.
Number 8. The Interior Decorator. This one's from the same Barrens episode, but it deserves its own spot. When Tony calls Paulie to check in on the situation, Paulie tries to explain that they killed a Russian who was an interior decorator. Tony's confused response: his place looked like shit. Christopher corrects him. The guy killed 16 Chechen rebels. He was an interior decorator in the Interior Ministry. The miscommunication, delivered completely deadpan in the middle of this crisis situation, is perfect. It's such a small moment, but it's become one of the most quoted lines from the entire series. It also perfectly captures how these guys operate. Even in the middle of a disaster, there's room for absurdity and miscommunication. They're criminals, but they're also just guys who don't always know what they're talking about.
The guy you're looking for is some kind of ex-commando or some shit. He killed 16 Chechen rebels single-handed.
T? T, that you?
Ah, damn it.
Number 7. Ralphie and the Horse. Okay, this one's dark, really dark, but it's also absurdly funny in how it unfolds. Ralphie is one of the most entertaining villains in the show, and his relationship with his racehorse Pai Mai becomes a whole thing. When the horse gets sick, Ralphie is genuinely upset, but then the stable conveniently burns down with the horse inside, and Ralphie gets a massive insurance payout. Tony is convinced Ralphie killed his own horse for the money. The argument between Tony and Ralphie about whether he killed a horse is both horrifying and ridiculous. Tony's more worked up about this horse than he is about actual murders. They're screaming at each other, and Ralphie keeps insisting he didn't do it, and the whole situation is so absurd. These are mobsters. They kill people. But Tony draws the line at killing a horse. The twisted moral compass on display here is darkly comic. The Sopranos always knew how to find humor in the hypocrisy of these characters.
The horse was no fucking good with the fucking colic all the time and the fucking bills.
What are you talking about? She bounced back.
This time, but each time it takes something out of him.
Number 6. Christopher's movie pitch. Christopher wants to be a screenwriter. This is established throughout the series, and it's always played for laughs because Christopher is not a good writer. In Season 5, he pitches a movie idea to Jon Favreau and Amy Saffer, and it's magnificently terrible. He's so earnest about his script, talking about themes and character development, but you can tell from everyone's reactions that it's garbage. The Hollywood people are trying to be polite, but they're clearly not interested. Christopher can't read the room at all. Later, when Christopher thinks someone stole his idea, he confronts Jon Favreau at a poker game. The look on Favreau's face, playing himself, is priceless. Here's this actor dealing with an actual mobster who's convinced Hollywood stole his terrible movie idea. It's a brilliant commentary on Hollywood and mob culture colliding, and Christopher's complete lack of self-awareness makes it even funnier. He genuinely believes he's got a masterpiece, and everyone else is just being polite.
I know you're all psyched to see the movie, so I'm not gonna give a big speech here. I just wanna give a shout out to the man who, without him, this whole thing would be impossible.
Number 5. Vito Jr.'s goth phase. After Vito's death, his son Vito Jr. goes through a rebellious phase. But this isn't normal teenage rebellion. The kid goes full goth, complete with black lipstick, the whole 9 yards, in the middle of New Jersey mob culture. The family has no idea how to handle this. These are tough guys who solve problems with violence, and they're completely baffled by a teenager wearing eyeliner. Phil Leotardo's reaction to seeing Vito Jr. is absolute gold. He's personally offended that the kid is dressing this way. They stage another intervention because that worked so well before, and everyone's just yelling at this kid about his appearance. Nobody's actually addressing the trauma of losing his father and everything that came with it. They just want him to look normal. The show could have played this straight as a tragedy, which it kind of is. But there's something undeniably funny about these hardened criminals being defeated by hot topic fashion choices.
What is that supposed to mean?
Sometimes you call me Carlo Jr.
All I know is I couldn't shut your dad up about what a good kid you were. You're gonna look at me.
I'm not moving to fucking Maine!
You think anybody wants that?
Number 4. Paulie and the painting. Paulie might be the funniest character in the entire show. His superstitions, his vanity, his complete lack of self-awareness. It's all comedy gold. And the painting scene is peak Paulie. In season 6, Paulie commissions a painting of himself. When it's delivered, it's him dressed as a Revolutionary War general, Napoleon style. He hangs it prominently in his home, and he's incredibly proud of it. When Tony sees it, his reaction is everything. He can barely contain his laughter. This is a portrait that belongs in a dictator's palace, and Paulie thinks it's tasteful. The ego on display is magnificent. Paulie's face when people don't immediately compliment his painting is priceless. He genuinely doesn't understand why anyone would find it ridiculous. It's such a perfect encapsulation of his character, vain, delusional, and completely earnest about it.
You want to phone everybody? What the fuck?
I know you said you wanted it burnt, T. The picture moved me.
It's because you knew it cost me a fucking arm and a leg.
Number 3. The Weight Watchers card. Bobby Bacala is the sweet, gentle giant of the crew. He's overweight, and in season 6, he's trying to lose some pounds. Tony finds Bobby's Weight Watchers card and decides to have some fun with it. At a sit-down with New York, in the middle of serious mob business, Tony just casually slides Bobby's Weight Watchers card across the table. The New York guys see it and start laughing. Bobby is mortified. What makes it even funnier is that this is during a tense negotiation. People could get killed over the business they're discussing. But Tony can't resist embarrassing Bobby in front of everyone. The pettiness is astounding. Bobby's hurt expression and Tony's satisfied grin perfectly sum up their relationship. Tony treats Bobby like a little brother he can't help but pick on, even in the most inappropriate moments. It's mean, it's childish, and it's absolutely hilarious. Number 2. The Columbus Day Protest. The Columbus Day episode is satire at its finest. The Italian-American community is protesting against Native American activists who want to end Columbus Day celebrations. Both sides are out there screaming at each other, and it's complete chaos. The guys from the crew are out there defending Italian heritage, getting into arguments, acting like they're in some kind of war. The absurdity of these criminals suddenly becoming activists is perfect. These are guys who've done terrible things, but they're drawing the line at someone disrespecting Columbus. Silvio's passionate speech about Italian contributions to America, delivered completely straight while standing next to actual mobsters, is incredible. Artie Bucco gets pepper sprayed. There's a brawl. It's madness. The episode doesn't really take sides, it just shows how ridiculous everyone's being. The Sopranos was always great at satirizing everyone involved, and this episode might be the best example of it.
Come to get out of here, you son of a bitch from about these shores. That better not be Columbus. Take it down.
Number 1. You're at the captain's table. And here it is, the funniest scene in Sopranos history, the captain's table. Junior's deteriorating mental state was heartbreaking throughout the series, but this particular moment is pure comedy. It's a simple scene. Junior's at a facility for people with dementia. Bobby comes to visit him, and Junior, in his confusion, thinks he's at a restaurant. He's looking at a menu, trying to order food, asking about the specials. Bobby gently tries to explain where they are, and Junior gets annoyed. "What are you talking about? You're at the captain's table." He's absolutely convinced they're at a nice restaurant, and he's treating it like Bobby's the crazy one for suggesting otherwise. Dominic Chianese's delivery is perfect. He's got the indignation of someone who thinks they're right, combined with this underlying confusion. It's funny, but it's also sad. That's what made The Sopranos special. It could make you laugh and break your heart in the same scene. The phrase, "you're at the captain's table," became iconic among fans. It represents how the show could find humor in even the darkest situations without being disrespectful to the reality of what was happening. And there you have it, the 12 funniest scenes from The Sopranos. What made this show revolutionary wasn't just the drama or the violence. It was how David Chase and his writers understood that real life isn't all tragedy or all comedy. It's both, often at the same time. These characters were monsters, but they were also human. They were ridiculous, petty, vain, and insecure. The show never let you forget that even the scariest mob boss can throw a tantrum over a horse or get embarrassed by his sister. The Sopranos proved that prestige television could be funny, that you could laugh at terrible people doing terrible things, and that comedy and drama aren't separate genres. They're two sides of the same coin. What's your favorite funny moment from The Sopranos? Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this trip back to North Jersey, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to The Throwback for more deep dives into the shows and movies that defined an era. Thanks for watching, and remember, when life gets tough, just tell yourself you're at the captain's table.